Last week, I spoke to a medical doctor on my IG Live about COVID-19 basics, from handling food deliveries, soap versus hand sanitizers, cloth masks, wearing gloves, grocery shopping safely, and of course, how you can help flatten the curve. This is the promised summarized Q&A video. Do comment below and give me feedback. It's also my first vlog up on YouTube, and in an attempt to stay healthy during these times, for every comment I get on IGTV and YouTube, I will owe you 2 squats and 1 knee push-up per comment. So, challenge me. Now, without further ado, we'll start with some photos first of our Malaysian frontliner with the biggest heart, presenting Dr. Ramanthan.
I've been in the medical industry for the past 7 years. 2 out of the 7 years, 5 years, I've been a frontliner. I'm a medical officer at an emergency department. I've spent 5 years of my emergency experience in the government setting, government hospital, and another 2 years in the private sector. So currently I'm in a private hospital in BJ, and I've been a frontliner ever since. So the virus enters your body through mainly your nose or your mouth, and where it stays normally before it infects other area is at the nasal back, nasopharyngeal. So when you go, this is your outer part of your nasal cavity, and you go slightly deeper into your skull, there is this passage called the nasopharyngeal. That's where the viruses are.
That's why the swab test is
swab
all
goes
the way
very
up.
deep inside. Yeah, it's not at just outside. Millions of them are at the back of your nose or at the down your throat, slightly down, oral pharyngeal. So it's important at these 2 places. So what happens at these 2 places? These 2 places, they have cells there. Cells means, let's just say, how small little factories right next to each other, and there are millions of those small factories in there working like what they normally work, right? So what the viruses do is they go attach themselves to the wall of the house, let's say the factory, outside of the factory. They would invade into the factory, and they would take a hold of your factory and start producing itself. So let's just say your factory at the throat is producing other essential stuff, that producing things that's needed in your body. Now it's producing viruses. It goes through the genetic and DNA, it switches it, and in that one cell, there will be so many viruses, and the cell explodes. It goes into 1 million over viruses. Imagine so many cells are being infected. That's how you end up getting infected. And people, once from the throat, if the virus travels down to the lungs, that's when people get a bit serious. If you already suffer from some form of medical predisposition, you are at a higher risk of dying or getting a bit more complicated risk. A patient lied about his travel history and got himself admitted for 4 days. And I saw the patient twice with not wearing proper PPE. And then later on we found out positive. So there was a scare. They had to put a lot of us back home for 2 weeks. There was not enough staff in our hospital. So people don't realize the impact that it does if we do not properly segregate patients accordingly. And any patient that comes to our hospital, you are a COVID-19 until proven otherwise in our doctor's eyes. You cannot blame them only, right? I mean, people are more scared. It's general population are scared to go to hospital, even for a simple fever. More or less during the pandemic, I think people are even more scared coming to the hospital. They don't want to be prejudiced, or they don't want to be, looked down upon to say that, oh, why you travel this time, or why you go here, why you go there. They're just scared, I guess, more than anything. Of course, there are chances of it being handled by someone who might be positive, and the viruses do stick in a certain type of surfaces longer than different surfaces. But end of the day, the final handler is you. How you handled it, how you clean it, or how you clean your hands before you eat, or how you clean your hands after handling, that is the main thing.
But virus in the food?
No, virus in the food, it's still not being proven that the food that you eat has virus in it and you consume, because the enzymes in your mouth and your stomach is able to kill it, and this immune system have the immune system, the antibodies to fight with it. But generally, outside, exteriorly, our enzyme, our salivas do keep. For instance, when you talk about HIV, right, Amanda, do you know the HIV virus can only spread through blood, right? If I drink someone's blood which has HIV, I'm not going to get it unless I have a sore in my mouth.
It's a different system.
Exactly, it's a different system. So the virus also cannot live outside of our body too long. The moment the blood touches the floor, the virus dies. So that is for HIV, and this for corona. It's too early to say anything. It's too early for me to even justify, say 100% it's not in the food. But how safe are you going to be? But so far we know the bill of the virus is nothing. It won't be in your food that you digest. It's going to get into your bloodstream. No, it's still not it's the way it's built. It's very similar to all the other coronaviruses out there. The virus has, they call it lipid soluble. So it's made, the outer structure is made of fat soluble, which can be easily broken down by soap products. So that's why soap is much more effective and more gentler on your hands. So if you have a choice, use soap first. Hand sanitizer, keep it for a short term when you're going for grocery shopping or something, at least for a quick thing. But always come back home and use proper soap and water. Protection wise, it's still not the best. It's still good to have a surgical mask. If you want to have a cloth mask, make sure you wash it as often. When I meant often is every day you need to wash it, every time you need to wash it. Have a couple more. I went to grocery today and I saw a couple of them. It was a small grocery place near my house. So I went there and I saw 3 ladies in gloves, right? They came out of their car wearing their gloves, the striking bright blue gloves. They come and she starts holding everything and anything from the shelf. She was already wearing a mask, and with the gloves she was holding a mask, thinking and doing this and adjusting her hair, and she took it. And then when she proceeded to pay, she was digging through her handbag with the gloves on. She's taking out a wallet, passing the card, taking the money and putting in. And then she gets into the car and she's driving with the gloves on. I'm like, don't you realize you have touched all your handbags, everything on it, and you proceeded to carry that germ-filled gloves back into your car. The reason that we doctors, we use gloves is so that we don't transmit viruses from one patient to the other. Even every patient, we would change the glove. Every ward we leave, we change the glove, because the glove is already carrying a lot of bacteria and viruses itself. So by you going, you are not infecting yourself when you're just touching the stuff from the product, you're infecting yourself if you touch your face. If you know how much that you need or what card you need to use, put it separately in your pocket rather than taking your own handbag or digging through your handbag. Better still, don't even carry your handbag. Carry a small plastic with all the necessity inside, one card, couple of cash inside and coins. Just go with that, shop and come back. And just, at least you are not touching all the surfaces, And grocery places are getting so crowded these days. People are going to grocery shopping 3-4 times in a week and they just don't want to be stuck at home. It's getting more crowded, so people have to be careful. Our main priority, as you know, is to flatten the curve. We know we cannot eradicate this virus. It might come again next year, it's going to have another explosion. But what we can do is to reduce the number of cases on a daily basis so that the hospital is not overburdened. That's when people die, when your hospitals are overcrowded, when your doctors are sick. Who are you going to run to? So it's important to flatten the curve. That is the main important of MCU. Just want to slow down the process to don't let us, drown at work. Stay indoors, guys. Please help the healthcare providers and the frontliners to reduce their capacity of the work by staying home as much as you can, as long as the MCO is in place till the 28th or 29th of April, right, Amanda?
Yep. Yeah.
Wash your hand as frequently as you can, especially when you go out and come back. Have a shower. Please help out the people in your society. One thing you can do is, I can't stress enough, helping out the homeless, the poor, the refugees that they are in our city. They don't have the capacity or the money or the means to getting good healthcare. If you help out this organization, I actually wrote down few organizations that deals with them in KL especially, right? There's people like Buku Jalanan Chowkit, Dapo Jalanan KL, Tenaga Nita, Refugee for Refugee. Help them out, educate them, get them good healthcare system, food, and there are a lot of kind gestures happening at the hospital. Even at my hospital, you have people delivering food on a daily basis, knowing that we have no time to eat or no time to go out. Many of us live away from our families or loved ones. At least I come back to my mom. But there are married people who do not live with their wives or their husbands and their kids. So they live alone. They have no means to cook. So good to donate to your nearest hospitals. Stop spreading fake news. Be only positive online, especially things like you doing, Amanda, using social media platform to spread awareness, educate people, so that this educated thing that you learn, you can spread it to others. So that's how you get a more civil society where people are more aware. So that's important also. So just be positive in what you do. When you go online, don't use negative words. It's bad enough everyone is struggling in their own unique way. Let it be financial, mental, family, work. But what we can do is at least put out more good in this world during a bad time like this.